to T-Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 160. And obviously in this one, it is the preview. Second time round, Manchester City are coming to Kenilworth Road this season. Obviously last time out, it was a narrow defeat for us. Played pretty well. I thought in the first half in that game. And then I think City just really stepped up in the second half and got through. But obviously we've taken it on again in the FA Cup. Obviously, the last time we did go this far was obviously when we took on Chelsea and had a narrow defeat when they were club champions as well. So yeah, that is that. But yeah, two guests, obviously, as always. My dad, how are we, Dad?
All good, mate. Hope cool.
Yep, I'm all good. And for the second time round, we've got Big Steve on again. Thank you for coming on. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So obviously, like I say, taking on Man City again at Kenilworth Road for the second time. However, this is the first FA Cup meeting between Luton and Manchester City since January 1969, with the Citizens winning a third round tie 1-0 at Main Road. Man City are unbeaten in their last 9 meetings with Luton in all competitions, winning 5, drawing 4. Like I say, obviously, I did win 2-1 a bit earlier on in the season. Luton are looking to reach the FA Cup quarter-final for the first time since 1993 to 94. They've gone out of the 5th round twice since then, against Millwall in 2012-13 and against Chelsea, obviously a game I mentioned. Manchester City have reached the FA Cup quarter-final in all but one of their 7 previous campaigns under Pep Guardiola. The only failure was in 2017-18 when they lost 1-0 to Wigan Athletic in the 5th round. And then the last bit on this section, this is the first time Luton have an FA Cup tie against the holders of the competition since 1986-87, when they eliminated Liverpool after 2 replays in the 3rd round. And then a bit more on it about Manchester City. City have been better travellers this season than their treble-winning campaign last term. They've already won more away games than they did during the entirety of last season. Champions have kept the ball out of their net too. They're yet to concede in the Emirates FA Cup and have earned 8 clean sheets in the Premier League. Phil Foden has scored 16 goals for City in all competitions this season. That is the most he has scored in a single campaign since 2021. This is, like I say, our first FA Cup fixture against them since 1969. Obviously, last time out, we played during the week due to, obviously, Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Obviously, we did take the lead in that, but ended up losing 4-1. And then team news going into it for us. Doughty is available for selection, and Hashioka is finally available for selection as well. I did think as the games come on, it probably would more so be this one that it'd start to be involved in. Obviously, Kabore can't play in this one, just like the league game. And then obviously Lukonga, he come out the other day and said his injury is not as bad as what it seems, but he'll not be available for this one. And then Elijah is still out alongside Brown, Anderson, Nakamba, and obviously Lockyer as well. The referee will be Anthony Taylor. 148 yellow cards, 6 red cards have been handed out by Taylor across his 32 games this season. We last had a game run by Taylor when we failed to defeat Brentford in the Premier League. Obviously that, very awful away performance. So yeah, that is that when it comes on to that. So interesting, there is some interesting stats there. Obviously, last time we did play holders, won a very, very long time ago. But there is that. Obviously, City are very, very good in this. Obviously, when originally it was obviously the treble winners, and now it's the holders. Obviously, that was one of them that they won. Coming to Kenilworth Road again. But yeah, after saying all of that, Steve, how do you feel going into this one?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's just a tough place to go, isn't it? Kenilworth Road. It's an old throwback ground. We said it last time, and the league game we struggled. It wasn't a masterclass performance from us. Could have gone either way. We dug deep. We got the win, and I think we were happy to get out of there with 3 points intact. And I think tomorrow's much of the same. I think we've just got to go there. It might not be pretty. Do what we do. Defend well. And we've got an awful run coming up of games. Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Villa, Brighton, all in the next 6-7 weeks. So I think he'll have one eye on that. But I think the key is just to make sure we don't get dragged into a dogfight, don't get dragged into some sort of trap where I've seen it. You know, you go to these grounds on a Tuesday night in the FA Cup, the atmosphere is red hot, and all of a sudden, some of the players are like, they're not up for it. You know what I mean? And I'm just hoping that he picks the right side and we get the job done.
Yeah, it's totally understandable. Dad, your thoughts going into this one?
Yeah, very similar. Although, you know, for me, I advocate quite a few changes for us, because obviously how important for us to stay up. So, but Rob Edwards probably will go kind of strong. We know like Krul will probably be in goal. I do expect the same, but at the same time, I think if City, when they played us before, they didn't have De Bruyne on the pitch, they didn't have Haaland on the pitch,
Yeah.
or possibly both of them will be on the pitch. And you know, they don't need a lot of time to tear you apart. Haaland, if he does start, he won't care. He'll love playing at Kenilworth Road. Out of anyone, I think that he will love it. So it's going to be. We just need to just show that performance that we can do at Kenilworth Road, and I'll be happy with that. If we get knocked out, we get knocked out. It's nothing embarrassing about it. It's the holders. It's Man City. Do you know what I mean? We've got to play them again. You know, who'd have thought we'd have played Man City 3 times?
Yeah.
You know, first season in the Premier League as well. So, you know, it sets a good. But if we can keep it close or make them work for it a bit, then that's all good for us. Remember where he was 10, 11 years ago. So I'll just be happy with a good performance.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, you want it to be, you know, obviously the problem we've had in previous games over the weeks is that finishing, you know, that instinct to obviously get the ball actually in the back of the net at times. So, you know, as long as we're more clinical, you know, it's going to be interesting defensively, because obviously, like I said, we still got quite a lot of defenders out. Obviously, Elijah, who did score in the game in the league, obviously is out for this one. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm sort of on the same wavelength as you, Dad. You know, obviously, you know, last time they didn't have De Bruyne, they did have Haaland, you know, and they will be involved at some point if they're not start for me. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It's interesting how we approach it as well, because, you know, obviously, you know, like I say, obviously the league is the main priority, but at the same time, you know, it's one where I feel you have to put certain players in, you know, of the sort of key players, because, you know, it's one of them where there's not a lot in certain positions anyway. You know, especially when it comes more so to sort of defensively, you know, obviously Lukonga and you know, Nakamba out as well. So I feel you have to put Barkley in. So I feel if you put, you know, like say for instance Ruddock and Berry, I feel that is a bit risky, you know, in this type of game. So stuff like that, really. But let's go through some comments. Big up to Oasis, says, yes, lads, big up to yourself. Big up to Chris as well. He says, big up, lads. Hope you're well. Good, thanks, mate. Hope you're well. Big up to Paul. Says, good evening, lads. Big up to yourself. Big up to Hanno as well. Big up to Spencer as well. So that is that. But yeah, lineup time. Obviously, like I say, it's interesting. It's interesting. Obviously, what I reckon we should go with is, like you say, obviously, Krul in goal. Obviously, he is the keeper for the cup competitions. Hopefully, it's a much better performance than Everton. Obviously, that wasn't, you know, the greatest performances from him. Obviously, even he knew on that goal they did score, you know, he should have done a bit better. So, Krul in goal. Defensively, now it's pretty interesting. For me, I'm going to go Burke. Obviously, he did have a pretty decent game in the last FA Cup game, obviously against Everton. And then in the middle, I'm gonna go Menji in this one. Obviously, he had a really, really standout performance in the FA Cup against Everton. You know, and apparently he did actually play through the middle in that game. So there's me saying I've quite seen him play in the middle. I think he actually was in that game. So it's interesting. I'd go with that because, like I say, I still have my doubts with Osho, you know, whether in the middle, left or the right side, I think he's good, but the middle, I'm just not really too sure. And then quite an interesting one on the left side. I am actually going to go, and it'll be interesting to see what people think, but I'm actually going to go Johnson. I'm actually going to go Johnson on that left side. Obviously, he has played a few minutes. I was actually debating to put Potts in this one, you know, give him that start. You know, he does deserve it. You know, he has been with us, you know, obviously through the rise. But I just feel because he's played no minutes, it would be quite risky. Whereas Johnson has played a few minutes. If Rob Edwards says to him, like he did against Everton, just come on, do the basic things, don't try and complicate it. I feel give him a go. He has played a few minutes and he has been involved in the squad, even last season as well. So I'm going to go with Johnson. And then the left side, I'm actually going to go Bell. I'm going to put Bell, in his position we would like to see him in. Especially if Doughty, I feel, don't risk it. Obviously starting him, it's one of them where, obviously he was coming off limping. It's not really ideal. Have him on the bench, if he is available, but I wouldn't start him in this one due to that. And then on the right side, I'm going to go in this one. I am actually going to go Hashioka. I'm going to say start him. See what he's all about. Rob Edwards did say he has been scoring some volleys in training, so you never know. Set piece, you never know. But I'll go with him. I'll give him a start. Like I've said, I've wanted to see him involved in the squad for a good few weeks now, since the game after Newcastle. So yeah, I'll go with him in this one. And in midfield, I'm gonna go in this one. Obviously, it can't be Nakamba or Lukonga. Obviously, I'm going to go with Barkley in this one for sure. And then I'm going to go alongside him. I'm going to go Ruddock. Ruddock has started a few games in the FA Cup this season anyway. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ruddock. Obviously, it's not ideal, but obviously Lukonga's out. Like I say, Nakamba's out. Obviously, Ruddock can do a bit of both, more so than like a Berry, for example. So I'm going to go with that. And then the three up front, I'm going to stick with Morris up front, the higher one. And then on the right side, I'm going to go Townsend. Obviously, he hasn't started the last few games. So I feel, start him in this game, that experience. And then the left-hand side, I was flickering between Woodrow and Clark. Obviously, Woodrow did get the winner against Everton, but I'm going to go with Clark. I'm going with Clark. I feel if Morris is not having the greatest of games, maybe bring Woodrow on a bit later on in the game. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So Krul in goal, back three Johnson, Menji, Burke, midfielder Barkley and Ruddock, and then left side Bell, the right side Hashioka, and then the three up front. I'm going to go Clark on the left side, Townsend on the right, Morris up front. So that's my lineup. Dad, your lineup in this one?
1 second, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah. That's what I reckon. There might be some there. Johnson might be a surprise, but I just feel, just Potts. I'm just because he hasn't played no minutes at all. I just feel guy of Johnson. Has been involved a lot in the FA Cup games as well. Oh yeah, that's the wrong one, Dad.
Is it on there now?
No. It's still the other one.
1 second.
There you go. You're all good now.
Right. So obviously, Tim Krul in goal. We know that. Back three. There's a few options we could do, isn't there? And for me, Rob Edwards probably will still put Bell on that left centre back, but for me, I wouldn't. I'll be putting Osho there, Menji in the middle, same as yours, with Burke there. I was tempted to start Hashioka, but I'm not sure if he's up. I feel he's more back four. Like, I don't think he's really a winger. We'll see. So I'll start Chio still there, and then Barkley and Ruddock in for very light midfield. We talked about putting Townsend in that Ruddock position, Tyler, but we'll see. Again, also I've gone Bell on the left. I think Doughty got to rest him. We've been flogging him so badly, and it's you can see it's catching up with him a little bit. And we don't want him to get a serious injury. Like I'll be resting him. I'll be starting with Chong again, because I think Chong's sort of progressing really well. Been involved in the last 2 goals that we've scored. And then Townsend for his experience, and then I say you're going to have to go Morris up front. You know, can't be just putting Woodrow up there on his own, and just compete. And I think we'd be all right.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's another thing. You know, similar to what I said about Johnson. You know, just do the simple things. If Thingy did play in midfield, obviously Townsend. You know, we were saying similar things. You know, in the sense of what he should do there. You know, just do the simple thing. You don't really see him there, but it would, you know, be good because you have seen, obviously, due to them being the more experienced ones, when he has been, you know, with Barkley, when he's come on in recent games, you can see, you know, they're trying to do their little, you know, bit, if you know, sort of thing. So it's one of them. But Steve, your lineup that you would go with tomorrow night?
I think Ortega will play in net 100%. It's probably going to be Nathan Ake at left back, Akanji, Diaz centre back. You might see Rico Lewis at right back going into midfield. I think Rodri, Kovacic, and Foden in the middle. Left side will be probably Jeremy Doku, maybe Nunes. Right side, Bernardo, I would think. And then up front, Haaland, because he's come back from injury, so he needs a sharpness. So, you know, he's missed a couple of chances recently and everyone in the world's crying about it. So he just needs to get his sharpness back. But I think there'll be plenty of changes in the game. Oscar Bob, there's a couple of young kids floating around the first team that might be in the squad. So, you know, Kyle Walker didn't play the other day. Alvarez didn't play the other day. So, you know, we've got the Manchester Derby on Sunday. So, depends what Pep comes up with. But that's the team I'd probably go for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Doku, I've always rated him, you know, since I've seen him come in this season. Every time, you know, obviously he has, I believe he did start against Everton, didn't he?
Yeah.
But the games before that, when I see him come on, you know, he looked very, very good, and he was always.
He's lively. It's for me, he's an impact player at the minute. But when we start him, you know, if there's a lot of space for him to run into, he will get at defenders. If there's 2 or 3 getting on him early doors, forcing him backwards, he tends to go missing a little bit, trying to get the ball going into midfield. He loses it a lot. He's just not got that control yet that where Pep demands of the game. You know, Jack Grealish, Pep gets a lot of criticism for changing his game, but it works. And when Jack Grealish in our team, the balance of the play and the way we switch the ball from left to right, it's disjointed. It's like a cog missing out the wheel. So Jeremy's very young. He's got a lot to learn. In a game like this, you know, welcome to English football, Kenilworth Road. Get him on there. You know what I mean? He might learn more in a game like this than he will in the Premier League. So for me, he has to play.
Well, we'll probably learn more than Cabore's learning with us at the moment. I mean, he's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you about him. I mean, he played for Marseille, I think, last year, and a few Marseille fans was like, "Oh, we love him," and then he said something like, "I don't want to go back to Man City," and then we've loaned him to Luton. But like you say, I've seen him a few times, and he's not looked impressive to me.
He's not looked Premier League quality, has he? No. He looks almost daunted at times, you know, diving in for tackles, you know, getting the yellow cards, like losing the ball and running like a schoolboy almost afterwards. Like, I'm not sure where his head's at.
Probably believed his own hype in being in France, Marseille, one of the top teams. He's probably thought, you know what, I'm a good player. And then he's come to the Premier League, and we all know the Premier League is fast, non-stop. Every game, you know, again, no disrespect, Marseille, he's probably going to 6 or 7 teams a season there where he can have a breather and he can relax and he's getting no pressure. You join Luton, no disrespect, you go in every game, teams are thinking, well, it's only Luton, we'll kill him. And he's got to be on it, mate. Yeah, like you said, otherwise. But we'll sell him probably. We'll sell him.
Yeah, I did say that to you, Tyler, didn't I? I said, I think maybe when he was younger, he's used to playing in the Man City under 17s, whatever team. You know, they're all quality players generally, and it's totally different.
We bought him. We bought him very, very young, and we've loaned him all around our City group. So I think he's been at Lommel in Belgium. I think he's been at Troyes in France, and then I think he went to Marseille. I think he's been passed about a little bit. But obviously, he's looking at him. He's not going to make. He's not getting Kyle Walker out of the team. I don't think he's getting Rico Lewis out of the team. So I think it'd be time for him to move on.
And also, I think defensively he's pretty poor. You know, going forward, he's got a lot of potential. But Chio, who we signed from Rotherham, is outstanding for that. You know, especially compared to him. So he's we've seen him put in a couple of good tackles, but he's so inconsistent, and you always worry on the ball. And he's gave a few chances away where, you know, schoolboy errors. And I think that is why we signed Hashioka, and also think that's why he has been on the bench in the last few games as well. And I think
what's the crack with Ross Barkley? I mean, he's having a great season. I think Luton's given him a lifeline. I think he was ready to go on a football scrap heap, and you guys are giving him a platform. He's playing well. What's the contract situation with him? Is he tied down, or is it up in the air? Because I mean, the Manchester papers were saying that United want him.
Yeah. We all presumed initially that it was a 1-year contract pending, you know, relegation. But stuff's come out further to that, where Roberts has kind of hinted that he's got at least 2 years. So, and Man United wanting him, of course, you know, I think their owners are affiliated with him in some way. Like they owned another club that he was.
They signed him for Nice. Yeah, they signed him for Nice.
And obviously, he is playing really, really good football, proper Premier League quality. He's been outstanding for us this season, and you know, and he's done it against you guys, didn't he? In midfield,
yeah.
He was, you know, they didn't. Yeah, I think a couple of them afterwards were like, "Jeez."
You've got to give credit. You've got to give credit to Luton and the manager and that for giving him a chance, because I bet his wages are quite high, and in his own mind, he probably still thought he was a superstar. Everyone else looking in just thought it was, he's coming over here, he's getting a little payday at Luton, but he's knuckled down. He's enjoying his football, and when he's on it, he could play for us. I think he could play for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've said he could get in any squad in the Premier League. The way he's playing, I do believe that. But the Man United, they're probably interested in him. But you know, maybe if in the summer and they go, well, we'll give you 5-10 million for him. We can't. We'll take that, won't we? You know.
I think anyone's mad not to, even as a gamble, even at 10 mil, with the prices of players these days. You can't get nothing for 10 mil.
Yeah.
Nothing. So for me, Newcastle, someone like that who's saying FFP struggling, go there, 10 mil. Even if you've got to loan a couple, I'd say, look, we loan anyone out of our academy you want, take who you want for a year or two. We're having him for 10, and just try and get him, because he's decent, man. He's decent.
Yeah. You know, and he's a dark horse for the England squad. In my opinion, should be. You know. But we'll see what happens with that. But Townsend, we know, extended his contract, so whether we get relegated or not, he'll definitely be up with us still. And Barkley might, you know, his attitude's been really good with us, and we'll see what happens. I think possibly if we do stay up, then he might give us another season. You know, I don't know. It depends what the ambitions are. If you get in the England squad, then maybe if someone like Man United coming for him, then he probably would go, and you couldn't blame him. Look what he's done for us this season, especially if we do stay up. You know, so
I think a lot of people on the outside are rooting for Luton to stay up. I think it's the fact that you're actually trying to play, and you're trying to give it a go. Whereas, you know, we're looking at Burnley, Vincent. I think Vincent. I think he came up too soon. I think he had a plan in his head, maybe 3 years. They've outsold themselves. They've done it in style. They've come to the Premier League. They're not ready for it. They're literally not even. I think he's got the wrong team. Got the wrong team. They're going to go straight back, but then he'll probably come back again better than what they was before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You learned from it. Fulham done that, didn't they? They got where they went up. They signed quite a few players, and then it didn't work out. Went straight back down. So but you're right. It's because we've adapted. The first couple of games we was very naive. You could see the level where we need.
And we, you know, we've changed the way we have, you know, because we originally had 2 up front, didn't we? And we've adapted and played like this as well. Whereas, you know, it goes.
For me, the pinnacle, probably proper pinnacle, was the Brighton game, where we absolutely dominated them. from start to finish. We made them look like, relegation fodder. That's how well we played. A lot of people, they didn't play that well, but we didn't allow them to. We was on them from 0 to 90 minutes. And we could have won more, so that's a good sign to see. But then I'm sure we'll probably get another performance like that this season. But it won't be tomorrow night, definitely not.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, I'll be honest. I had a few things to do, and I could have either done it at weekend against Bournemouth, or I can do it Tuesday night. So I ended up missing Bournemouth. I'm not a fan of going to Bournemouth, I'll be honest, and I thought I'm definitely going Tuesday, Luton. So I'm driving up to my pals in Milton Keynes on tomorrow. Going to stay in Milton Keynes, and then we're jumping on the train, I think from Bedford or somewhere, wherever. We're going the train from somewhere. But I enjoyed it, mate, last time. I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. It brought back the memories from Division 2. And I know that's not me taking the piss. It's just like now, for so many years, I've been going to these super iconic stadiums all around the world, and it's very rare, unless you get a cup tie, you get to see it. And like just walking through that little stand and going in and just having unreserved seating brought it back a little bit, and having a post right in the fucking way. You know what I mean? So things like that, you know what I mean? But people take it for granted these days. Some people would go there and moan at that. Yeah. I thought it was fucking great that I had a post in the way and I had to go like this. Like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is what it is, man. But nah, I'm enjoying it tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Let's just have a good old fashioned the game you talked about before, Wigan. We went to Wigan and we got beat, and they made it uncomfortable. They were fouling, they were ragging us about. Some of our lads didn't want it. The pep was off it, fighting in the tunnel. There was a pitch invasion. The fans were on it was mental, but it took us off our game. We're out of the cup. That's all you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, I guess we'll get into that time. Obviously, Steve, like you say, will be going again. What is your score prediction for this game?
I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Luton 2, 3-2.
Nice.
Proper cup tie, 3-2.
Nice. Goals galore. Well, like I say earlier, when we played Chelsea last time we got this far, that was actually the score in that game as well at home. I did manage to go to that one. That was a very lively game. Obviously, we scored, like the first corner we had in that game. So could be potentially one of them games. Obviously last time out at Kenilworth Road, it was close as well, as we know. But yeah, Dad, your score prediction in this one?
Yeah, do you know what? I am going to agree. Like I think there'll be a few goals in it, and I kind of hope it goes straight to penalties. It gives us a better chance, but I feel that Man City will just snatch it. Like there's someone will come up with the goods, and it'll be 3-2 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It could be one of them. Especially like you said earlier. Haaland and De Bruyne are back. Maybe they could be the difference. If they're to maybe come on if they're not starting, sort of thing. My score prediction, it's difficult. I've gone slightly different. I've gone with a Man City win as well. I'm going to say 3-1 City, but it's a close game. It's a close game. It's just one where they get too late on goals to sort of seal it. Round about last 15 minutes. That type of thing. Like I say, I feel De Bruyne and Haaland could be the difference. Obviously they didn't quite feature in the league game. So yeah, I'm going to say that for that. But yeah, let's go through your predictions. Big up to everyone that has. Obviously, we'll do goal scorers as well. 2-1 Man City, says Chris. Same prediction. Luton giving it a fist of it. Yeah, could very well be. These Kenilworth Road, it's night games. Over the years, they've been very, very close if we haven't won. So you never know. Yeah, obviously, Spencer's on the same wavelength as me. He says, even though City hasn't looked dominant the last few games, they're going with a comfortable 3-1 City win. Fair enough. Waste has gone 1-0 to City. 3-1 to Luton, I believe Paul means by that. Jeez, that would be crazy. 3-2 to the Hatters, says Peaches. And then Jackie, it's gone 2-1 to Man City in that one. But yeah, Steve, your goal scorers for Manchester City?
I'm I'm going to go with. I think Haaland will get 2 if he plays, and I'm going to go with Phil Foden.
Yeah, nice. I could see that. Like I said, that Foden record earlier. He's doing very well. Obviously, he sealed the goal in the win the other day as well. Dad, your score prediction? Goal scorers.
For Luton, I'm going to go. Let's have a think about this. I'm going to go Chong and Morris for us. And Man City, Haaland hat-trick.
I hope so. I need it.
I'm going to go for us. I'm going to go Morris, and for Man City, I'm going to go Foden. I'm going to go Kovacic. Got a feeling he'll score, and I'll go Haaland as well. Goal scorers in that one. Jackie says Morris for us. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Obviously, since Elijah's, obviously been injured, we thought Morris would be a bit more, capitalised. I thought, a game like Liverpool, he could have been the one. That would have been the threat for us, but didn't quite have the best of games. So hopefully, gets a goal, kicks on. He's still up there for us when it comes to goal scorers. So we'll see. Especially if he's that aerial presence. Who knows? Who knows what he can possess there? But yep, Steve, thank you again for coming on the second time, and I'm sure we'll do something again when we play for the third time. This time, obviously, at the Etihad. But yeah, just let the people know where they can find you.
At Big Steve MCFC on all the channels: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
There you go. And obviously, yet again, I have put Steve's channel in the title as well, so you can click over and follow from there. So yeah, thank you again, Steve, for coming on.
Cheers, guys. No problem.
Steve.
I'll see you
soon the game tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, big up to Steve for that. And then the last thing we want to talk about before obviously we wrap up is a bit of news that come out today regarding Everton. Obviously, their 10-point Premier League deduction obviously got reduced to 6 points after an appeal, which obviously means we are now 4 points behind, which is obviously Nottingham Forest is the closest team to us now outside of that relegation zone. Your thoughts on this one, Dad?
Yeah, well, it's it's good in certain ways. Gives us a little bit of clarity. It was kind of hinted that they'd get some points back. So we know where we stand now. 4 points behind Forest with a game in hand, and I think it's probably going to help us because, as I said, we know where we stand. We know we've got to fight for. Even though we've been looking at an alternate league table anyway, intention in the back of people's mind, the players' minds, there's still but we're above them. So it clarifies it a bit. And they've got a second charge, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. My opinion is, they've charged them again, so it must be relevant. It's in this, one of them's in the same period or something like that. We'll see, but I expect them to get either another 10-point reduced to 6 on appeal, or they won't even bother. They'll give them 6 and say you can't appeal. We had, when we got our deductions, we were told we couldn't appeal. So there must be some leeway in that as well. I think they'll get another 6. And I think Nottingham Forest will get 6 as well. Or they could get 10, appeal it, and then get 6. But it's just a waste of time. I think they'll just get straight 6 and go. And they probably won't bother appealing it then. But then you could have Everton on the other hand going, what? It depends on the timing of it, because they could go, right, we give Forest only 6. So they have to word it to say we've given them 6 in basically saying that if you appeal, you ain't going to get anything. Do you know what I mean? So there's still a lot to happen in there, but I still expect another 6 each probably. But we just need to play our game and see what happens. Nottingham Forest decision should be, for me, should be made this week. They should be getting whatever they're getting. If it is 10 points for them to appeal, because that's what they probably were waiting for. a little bit of clarity on Everton's appeal, then they can proceed, legally in the way they want against Nottingham Forest. So
Yeah.
it's all interesting, but listen, we got a free hit tomorrow, and then we got a massive game. Was it on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, yeah, 5:30 TV again.
Massive game. Like I said before, the injuries we've got to manage them properly, and that's why Lukonga's definitely. It probably will be back against Villa.
Yeah, Rob Edwards is hoping that Elijah is as well.
He's also said that the Cambers probably won't play again this season. So
sort of need Lukonga back ASAP because of that.
Or we need other players to step up. Because if we've got that kind of midfield against Man City away, Arsenal away, Bury, they're just. I'm sorry, but they're going to get overrun massively.
Yeah, no, for sure. Going back to the Barkley thing earlier as well, singing his praises, rightly so. And he's, like I keep saying, he's been doing it in the CTM role, but, we'll get to a stage where he won't be able to quite do it by himself. Yes, Berry comes on and he has put in the shift, but I just feel it's not sustainable sort of thing, and Ruddock, he has the first 2 games we won of the season, he was actually starting in both, but I just feel there's certain games, like I said, I might have said it on the last one, where he's quite isolated from the person alongside him at times, and they're having to do quite a lot, i.e. Ross Barkley most of the time, because obviously he's been the one who's been, fit the whole time, really, since obviously he's come in. So stuff like that as well. On the Everton points for me, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. It's just, I get that they appealed it, but it's just annoying they give him 10 and then just take them off. It's bit annoying, but like you said, there's positives to look at it. It's sort of, we know where we're at, sort of thing. Obviously, it does mean we have to definitely make the most of that game in hand. And it starts from Saturday, really. Like you say, tomorrow, I'd take it as a free hit as well. Because you guys can probably tell by my lineup. Certain players in there. I just feel it's Man City, it's the holders. It's not the main priority. We've got injuries all over the place up now, haven't we? Up front, midfield, defence. The only place we don't have it is goalkeeper at the moment.
We do ideally want to stay up on our own merit anyway, and what you got to look at, they've got that. But the fact is that Forest, who haven't yet had any points deductions, just the actual total points they've got is 24. 4 points ahead of us, and we've got a game in hand. So that actually isn't too bad. Yeah, we haven't won the game in hand, etc. But it's in our destiny kind of thing. We know we've got that game in hand. We know that we've got to really try and make something of that, potentially. So you'd still kind of take the position we're in at the beginning of the season, wouldn't you? 4 points from safety of a game in hand. You'd take that. Forget points deductions. You'd take that. And we have played well enough to scrape it, in my opinion, and that's what I probably expect us to do, barring injuries. If we get a few more injuries, I think it'll be curtains for us. I really do. So forget options for now.
You're seeing in the recent games defensively, we are struggling a bit. So yeah, definitely if there's more to occur, then yeah, I agree on that. Peaches actually says timing is hearing completed by 5th of April, decision by 12th of April, May 19th Premier League season ends, May 24th appeals concluded, which is annoying. Be good to know where we stand.
They shouldn't be doing that because it's not fair on any of the teams really, especially if you're down there. So if we stayed up and then went, no, they've appealed, so you're going down again. That's legal stuff. Like you can't be doing that because you delay someone's season. Are they planning for the Premier League or the Championship? What are they doing? If they'll be completed before the end of the season, I think.
Yeah, they got to be.
they're going to do it. So you get a certain amount and you can't appeal it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, it's the 13th. It's the away game against Bournemouth. So yeah, probably still at this moment, I'll probably stick by what I say. Because you look at a game like the other day, they give Man City a game. Very unlucky not to score at the end. So I'll stand by what I say in that game where I'll take a draw there. And then, the games that I approach at home that we need to really win, go out and try and win, is Nottingham Forest at home, is Everton at home, is Bournemouth at home. They're the games for me.
We've got that in our hand. And maybe the fact that we lost against Sheffield United at home and Burnley. Burnley was more varied early on, so I'm not really looking into that. The Sheffield United one, learn a lesson from that, and you have to get something out of them other two games, especially with them having points deduction, whatever it gets reduced to. They've had that. You've got to be beaten. You've got to be getting a result against them. So it could be a blessing in disguise in certain ways, that result.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously last game of the season's Fulham. I mean, last games of the season can be crazy, but I feel, I'm hoping really that they're sort of mid-table, nothing to play for, whereas us, I believe it'll come down to last game of the season. It'll probably be similar to, like I've said it, how it was when we played Reading, but obviously that was to get playoffs. Obviously we confirm, it'll be something like that, that type of game, I reckon. So we shall see. But yeah, that is that on that. Dad, any final things you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, just keep it moving and just enjoy the game tomorrow. I think I still think we're going to see Bell, we're going to see Doughty, possibly Hashioko starting. But it'd be interesting to see where he does start. I don't know. I'd experiment a little bit. I just think we're flogging certain players to death. This is not a good idea, man. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, we will see for sure. Not say, and obviously we've got eyes for us on that more important game on the weekend against Aston Villa. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, big up to everyone. Oh yeah, and Hashioko, by the way, another reason I said about putting him in the wing backs because I knew the other position he could play is right midfield. So I know he has got that attack going forward and that. So we shall see. Rob Edwards has, like I said earlier, said he scored a volley. He's been scoring volleys in training. You know what I mean? So maybe set pieces, boom. You never know. You never know. That would be a brilliant opening, wouldn't it? To start at Kenilworth Road. Imagine if he got a similar goal to what Sonny Bradley got. You remember that goal against Middlesbrough?
Yeah, imagine. He scored his first goal for Derby the other
day. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and they went 1-0 up. Yeah, I think they might have lost in the end. Did they lose in the end? But either way, he scored, so that was a good see because he did have a bit of a spell. So I'm just looking at the shirt. Did have a bit of a spell where he was struggling, to get in the team. So that's good to see. It's good to see that them not down the road lost as well. Obviously we haven't been spoken about weekend fixtures. Obviously we didn't play, so it was good to see that. Yeah, Danny Ward, well done, mate. Well done. But yeah, no, that is that. So big up to everyone that tuned in. We obviously are currently on 11 likes, so big up. Obviously, as for subscribers, we did hit that 1,890 mark. So big up to yourselves for that. And yeah, obviously, like I say, next couple of games are on TV. So obviously, I will be doing a watch along. Obviously, tomorrow's is on ITV1 in the UK. So obviously, I'll be doing a watch along to that. I'll go live around about 10 to 8. So obviously, the game's at 8. And then obviously, the Aston Villa game, that is on TV as well. 5:30 on Saturday, so I'll go live at 5:20 for that. And yeah, as for the next Hut show, we'll do it on Friday. We'll just do it all in one. React to this game, and then obviously preview the Aston Villa game. So yeah, obviously do check that out. Obviously, yesterday I did put out my FA Cup predictions as well. Bar the Luton game, of course, I saved it for this, but obviously it starts today. Coventry versus Maidstone. Can Maidstone pull it off again, or is this a step too far? We shall see. I hope Maidstone do it. That'd be sick for them. But we shall see what goes on there. So yeah, they're on the community post, and obviously follow me across all my socials as well. TikTok, Instagram, the lot. And yeah, until next time, tomorrow for me, Friday for my dad. We will see you lot in it. Take care and peace.